Mangatanifa Gerunga Etuni Ora Nitiro Ki Pakatere Nitiro Ki Puana.
This is the town of Mungamuka, where Highway 1 touches the KOTAHITANGA, just south of KOTAHITANGA. Faced with unemployment and housing problems, as they return home from a lack of jobs in the city and seeking a return to their tribal roots, local people look for ways to deal with these problems.
When I was living down in the towers here, I knew there was something missing there, like as far as where I belong. So we just took the initiative and we come back home. As opposed to be home, we find out it's all differently, like from the old days, from when the old people were still alive and all that. I can remember a part where they said that being on the dole was bludgeoning. But when you're being forced into social welfare handouts, and it's not becoming a bludger's dream, it's becoming an issue. Very important issue we should look at.
It's a national office for unemployed and beneficiaries, and my job is to coordinate 27 centres throughout the country on unemployed, Maori unemployed, or Maori take. Right, there's a lack of jobs, and the forestry redundancy has occurred since the corporatisation, and so due to that, we have 76 unemployed people here in Mungamuka alone.
Well, the living situation is just living to survive. We're near the main centres like KOTAHITANGA and KIRK and all those places. So we find a bit of hassle travelling to and fro to the main centres and do our shopping and carting everybody around, to do what they normally do on a Thursdays, which is the dole day. But the housing situation is good for some. Some that, they've been here for years, but not so good for the ones that just moved back into the area. It's a bit hard to get them into housing. There is one constructive solution here, man, and that's to stabilise the people. You can't just ask people to do things around the community when they're not even stable with their life. But the living conditions is poor. It's like asking a starving cat to go look for my feed.
At Mungamuka Marae, the AWHINA Trust is host to theatre workers from the Philippines Coordinating Council for People's Culture. 5 days of theatre workshops will explore how oppression affects Maori people.
Maina i tēnei marae, te marae o tātou tūpuna. Reira, haere mai. Muru mai, haere mai. Maria mai ngā mate. Oia marae, ngā mate, haere atua. No reira, tātou mai. Tēnā koutou katoa. Maria Mai te waiora ki au, e tūtu te wana, te moe e te kui e te pō kāo tea. E papa ki tu ana, ki nā tai ki te ringa, kāo a tea. E te whare, e papa tū nuku e hora nei, karanga mai. Karanga ki nā mukupuna, nā puni, tōna kōrero. Rārangi maunga, tūta ao, tūta pō, rārangi tangata, ihingana. Nō reira, nā mate, haere. E hara i te mea noa, nai nei te aroha e. Nō nā tūpuna tuku i o e. Te whenua, he walanga o tiwi e. Nō nā tūpuna tuku i o e. Tūana ko whakapono me te aroha e. Nō nā tūpuna tuku i o e.
Ko Janet Pōtiki ahau. No Paitakariki ahau. This is a return for me to the Hokianga, where I first came here with a group called Maranga Mai. We formed part of a group called Maranga Mai, which was to do a play concerned with contemporary Māori issues. My concern was to look for something, a process, a way of working to do with theatre and drama that was non-hierarchical, that was community-based, that was reasonably easily assimilated and understood by Māori groups who could then change it to their own cultural needs.
In the Philippines, we call ourselves the educational theatre, but at the same time, we consider education as play and education as very entertaining. Finding out and understanding ourselves better, and perhaps in understanding ourselves better, we could understand our community. We are going to do this through a lot of exercises, theatre exercises and games involving our bodies, involving our minds, and involving our hearts.
In the workshop process, theatre workers are more than actors. They are researchers, facilitators, teachers, and are equals, learning about the culture, economies, and politics of the locality as they teach.
It's just a game for us to know each other, not just our name, no, but some details about ourselves. So I will just tell you, form a cue, form a line according to, and I will say the variables, whether it's the height or whatever else. Okay. Now, as soon as you have formed your cues, your lines, the first one to complete it should sit down. The first, okay. Line according to your name. No? All letter A's in front, all L's at the back. If you're through, if you're finished, sit down. Third, second, third. We try to check if that's correct. C. Janet. Mag. Okay. They won. 1 point. 1 point. 1 point. 0.
It's hard to imagine that we're all riding in a canoe. The captain, the leader of the canoe will say, the canoe is sinking, and then we should all group together, because the persons that cannot join the groups in a proper number will sink. Let's try. Canoe, quality, rowing, canoe, being so safe, so calm, then suddenly the giant bird came. The canoe hit the rock. And the leader said, Those who were drunk will act as waves the next time. Okay, so we see who will survive the canoe ride. Okay, again. And then let's
Okay, when you introduce yourself, you do it with the sound of your name and a movement, whatever you want. Okay? So I will start with myself. Now. Okay. Nestor.
Sit down quietly, and then all of the two members will stand up.
Without any sound, and observe as many details of what they're doing.
Look at them from head to foot. The one observing, the one sitting down. How did your shoulders feel? How did your knees? Yeah?
Feel everybody's looking at you. And you're not quite sure what to do with my hands.
This time still observing, try to count how many poles if you could. Papa, there are in this entire Marae.
No, I don't know. How did you feel when did you feel a difference also when you started counting?
Yeah, oh God, I don't have to stand there, they don't have to look at me, I can move around the place. Feel okay and be at one with myself and not worry about what else is going on necessarily. If I just want to take time out to look and listen.
Concentration can help us relieve us of certain tensions that are brought about perhaps by some other people watching us do something. But if we're concentrating and we're very clear in what we're doing and we'd like to achieve, which is counting the rafters, counting the pictures of our loved ones, we begin to forget about other tensions. We begin to make something more productive. So we could call it tuning in, we could call it centers. Yeah. Centering, finding your center and concentrating on that. Or we could call it focus.
This time, we wanted to tune in ourselves to our sense of touch. Can we just close our eyes? Close your eyes. Just tune in to the feel of the hands of the persons beside you. Explore how big is it, how rough is it, how fine or how smooth are the palms, how long are the fingers. Break the chain. Break the chain. Okay, this time, we'll try to find a hand. Your point of concentration is to find a hand. But you will find your hand by closing your eyes. Oh! There are some rules. Now you can bring the person, the partner, to one corner and sit down without opening your eyes. No? But if she doesn't want to be with you, you cannot force her. Don't settle down apart with her. Explore. Explore first. Explore. There's no communication whatsoever. Now, the point of concentration is for you to know the hand. How does it feel?
What you do is called the blind contour or the blind drawing. look at the face of our partner, and then without looking at your papers, we try to draw one continuous line that will depict the face of your partner. As much as possible, don't try to break the line. Because when we all now look at our partner and concentrate on the face, and look at the eyes, the nose, the lips, and the face.
I think you've done me many times.
After showing our masterpieces to our partners, in 5 minutes time, can we try to share as many things about ourselves to our partners?
All the boys except one is got a girlfriend, and Cyril. Cyril is the eldest of my husband and I. Last year we built our home, and it was the money we were getting on the dole.
Can you make your last
Living in now, it was hard.
We will try to introduce our new friends, by telling what we learned from them. Okay, telling the rest of the group what we were able to get from our sharing with them. So, like, if in this pair, for instance, Mama draw Nestor as this. No? So Mama will go in front of Nestor and say,
Nestor. I'm 31 years old. I have 7 in my family. There are 2 boys and 4 girls. I used to teach in the university for how long? 4 years. I also own a farm, which I was so busy out in the city I couldn't get to my farm, and I went there once every 7 years. And
I'm Matt. This will be Mrs. Chapman. I've been enjoying life, and still enjoying life after raised 21 children, 3 of whom are from the first husband, and I've 17 children raised by me. I'm 56 and having 53 grandchildren. Yeah.
okay, 3 claps and 3 claps.
You have to do something with this paper. You create some shapes out of this paper that would represent yourself. Remember the 5 points. First is, of course, your positive quality, your traits, your positive traits. Second is your economic background, your occupation, whatever you do. Then, your love life, your expectations in this workshop, and last, your problems, which you have written down.
My economic background is like looking through the mountain of my economic descent since my parents let me off school at 15. It's this picture of the man I chose to rip in half, who represents my father, who had difficulties with. And I chose to also cut the face of the woman here, the kind of commercial image of woman, and to put the style, which I believe is a truer form, through my expectations were represented here through amazing to learn how to be more in a group, to be one of the group rather than having to take a leadership position like Kuhana or Whanesti is really good for me.
By combining these, a group sculpture was formed to express the problems, expectations and backgrounds of the group.
Making from a centre and spiralling outward, we have the physical elements of life the physical element, the spiritual and the mental elements of life, extending out into the various facets, aspirations and motions of life. We have various other things pressing in on us around, and we have a thread of colour which links the pathway of life and carries us through the various different aspects, like city living, the commercialism, the conflict, and but continues on, and we eventually come. This represents sort of the rocky pathway of life, eventually coming out to a smooth answer to kind of our problem.
The workshops have touched on our lives, our motivation, dreams, hurdles, and our future. To understand the theatre of the oppressed, its role in the lives and history of the Filipino people is shown.
And that indicates that this part is my territory. This is my land. This is their way of claiming ownership of land.
Mindanao is a land where a lot of tribal Filipinos and indigenous people live, and just like in Aotearoa, whose ancestral lands has been grabbed by them and themselves struggling to claim back their birthright.
What we'd like to share further is the years of colonial rule that we have encountered in the Philippines. Now we have some slides to illustrate the situations and the conditions in the Philippines.
Just like any other people associated with the land, the traditional concept of the land is that the land is of the ancestors. But when the Spanish came, the Spanish colonizers came, they brought in a Western concept of land ownership and use. And that paved ground to the agrarian problems and land problems that are faced by the people.
The colonial concept in the Philippines, what they used was the cross, up there. Religion was actively used to conquer the minds and the hearts of the Filipinos. But then at the same time, they used their soldiers to subjugate physically.
The majority of the Filipino people until now are farmers, and the central problem that they are facing is the problem of land. And side by side with that history of colonization is the history of land grabbing and landlessness.
Big areas in the countryside, you would see that big plantation economies are being put up to cater to the market needs of the American multinationals, like Del Monte. When factories, big multinational corporations would enter their territory and call it, like, buy the titles of the land, and then, suddenly they'd find themselves being pushed out of their own rightful territory.
The sugar crisis, which had made a lot of sugar workers and their families grow deep in and live in poverty. This is the story of the sacadas of the sugar workers in Negros.
Mayo pagani ang mga traktura kung magba, gila pa kayo sa ilang amo. Pero kung tao gani magpasakit,
Better the tractors, if they get destroyed, if they get broken down, they will let the many people repair it. But if the people are sick, they just don't take care. In the camp,
siling ko sa upod ko, para tong yaga na.
I told my companions, come on, get to track.
Kaya wala kami sudan natin.
Because we don't have anything to eat.
Kaya ginambal ko sa akong bata, siling ko, Noy, lagi. Ampal ko sa bata ko, Noy, dali lagi.
I told my son, come.
Mali, Tan kita mo na na. Abi, luto, wala sa balay.
Cook it immediately.
That's why
we immediately make some placards. Oo. Pintura to, Trust ko dito. We saw a truckload of military.
Kalaba, kung ilang ang mga dalang mga armas,
Long firearms.
Ginamon balaan ba nung ginahimo nila Huwag kong kami mo na balain.
That's true. We don't know what are these military doing here. We're not doing anything wrong.
Ate, Kagto kami sa tubangan
We went to the wrong side of our picket.
Akong pagaling upod ako nga bata nga sinunoy.
He even brought his little son called Nonoy.
Pero why dugay-dugay? Naghaboy sila sa tirga.
They called tirga to us.
Tapos may nagsinggit. Dapa lang pa mo!
Just hit! They are firing the machine guns at us! So many smoke because of the bullets of the machine gun all around us.
Loy!
I said to look for Noy!
Pusin si Nonoy samtang naghapa siya sa salon.
They killed Noy while he was lying back on the road. Blood all over his back.
Because there is no more land for them to till in the countryside. This would lead again to another problem because people are flocking into the urban centers, into the cities, and there is not enough jobs for them. And the conditions in the so-called slums and squatter communities are basically that degrading that they would only be building their own shanties, improvised shanties, a single room house, not enough water and electricity, and most of the times they are threatened of eviction, of their eviction in their own communities. Malnutrition is very much common. Children in the communities basically suffer from concomitant sickness because of the health and sanitary conditions in the areas. Lung cancer and bronchitis are the #1 killer disease in the country, and there's not enough social welfare or social services offered by the government. It is with this context of poverty, deprivation, oppression, and exploitation that really cultural workers or theater workers find theater very much relevant. What we call popular theater or people's theater is basically utilized as a support mechanism for people to understand the issues that confront them.
A lot of foreigners would ask us, what was that February uprising, that momentous historic event in the Philippines last February of 1986? We'd like to see it as a culmination of decades of struggle of ordinary people, peasants, workers, students, professionals, religious workers. It was an upsurge of spontaneous protest of the people against the greediness and the outright bastardization of our electoral processes made by Marcos.
How does oppression work? Our own lives give the answer. The oppression we experience affects the family, the community, the school, the legal system, our whole society.
Stop until I got it all. Every last drop. It's draining me of my very essence. I don't even know who I am anymore. You're so ignorant. You don't understand. All I know this. You'll never win. All evil must fall.
Why are you doing this to me? I'm really so nuts. Oh, you just fucked in the head anyway. Hey, you black bastard, get in yourself. Oh, don't isolate me. Who do you think you are? Who are you? I get 50,000 a year for this. Fucking hoggy trash!
How did you motivate yourself to play the oppressor and to play the oppressed?
To be the oppressor. Because you were angry right there and then. And you had to make all those expressions and feel that way. And actually I did feel that way, you know. It speaks.
Yeah, like a strange sort of switch of roles, like from being the oppressed to being the oppressor.
They don't care, they can't see. All they want is what they can get out of it, and they're willing to drain every last drop out of you, you know, and that you're nothing to them.
And for the other one, it gets to this sometimes extreme stage when you don't even know who you are. You feel faithless. You feel like your soul's being ripped out of you. And
being oppressed, you feel something, a deeper feeling, then trying to act out that other role of the oppressor.
Yeah, I don't want to go that deep into that thing. I'm trying to find my way out of that thing. I'm trying to find my identity in this world, rather than, feeling drained and not understanding why.
Was there anybody who somehow felt for playing the oppressor? Was there?
Because the oppressor is a man.
And as men, we all are oppressors. We're oppressors. We've all been oppressors at some stage or another, and it was to assume that role was not that hard to do.
For me, I am an oppressed person anyway, and to portray it, again, I could have just faced in myself, you know, and the oppressed, being an oppressor was really easy, like you said, you see it all the time, it's quite definite, you know. Yeah, I found it easy too, like it's, you look at it all the time around you and you see it happening to other people, so it's really easy to sort of to act there, you know, because it's what you actually see a lot.
Nami ang naman pagmudinhi. Wala may ikahatagan ninyo. Inyo nang ipanguha ang mga manok, ang mga baboy. Ganong inyo nang ipinil sa mukha. Gatago na ito ng mga komunista, no? Kamu mga mag-uuma mo, pagtamuntano mo na yung lugar, niya, tatago-tago mo mga komunista sa inyong mga payag, ha? Ha? Uwa, sir. Uwa, may gibuhat na lain. Anong nabuhi lang may dinhi. Maura na yung mamahimo, anong kami nabuhi? Litseng yawa. In those hills, there are peasants who wanted to live. But then armed vigilante groups, what we call paramilitary groups, accuse them that they're hiding communists in their houses.
I think that we suffer more of a mental oppression because I don't think that we're very healthy people. And you know, but what your performances also did for me was ground that reality based down that, you know. But I thought it was really good because that's the sort of thing that we need to break out of our mental oppression, you know, is to face up to reality and stop trying to dream this and think things are this way or that way when they're really just quite plain to see if you have a look.
I think some of the oppressions that we shared are quite obvious in a country like the Philippines. But I think what people are pointing out is that there are many more blinding institutions here that cover oppression.
In your country, they do oppression so well that they don't know that they're being oppressed.
Having seen the actual oppression in our present lives, it is useful to look to our dreams of how they could be, and what would be the actions which would bridge that gap. That is the story we will now construct.
What we're trying to improvise, to do actually, is to give you a situation of what, as Henry says, there were forces fighting, contradicting. There were this one wanted something, this one wanted another thing, and they go to clash. And who carried this conflict? At the beginning, I told you to focus on the person. The person have their own needs, their own wants, and we call it in drama the character. So we're trying to zero into elements of drama, character and conflict. And we saw that conflict was also needed in drama. Now, because in drama you usually show decisions made by people, right? And how some forces interact with each other. Now, we wanted to go deeper more into an understanding of conflict and character and the social issues that we're in the following exercises.
I'm the one who's been hit by Hemi. You too, on your background. You took the back, and you're the big one there. Yeah. I don't know. Kind of like and people go down and loud. You can be sitting in the middle, you're clearing your hair out.
Maybe we should all have our backs to him.
Yeah, that would be better.
Move to the next way. Move to the next way.
can you start, there are things going on in your mind. What are you thinking as the most oppressed character? Maybe you could give us words or one whole sentences.
They are children, his communism, and he's cleaning his mouth, and he's brushing his teeth. And she's cleaning her nails.
So you are the most oppressed at this point.
And the mother
is the most oppressed. How do you feel about, say first that you want them to clean their teeth?
You brush your hair properly.
Yes.
Clean your nose properly. And your toothbrush, inspect the front.
Don't move, the others don't move, only Ma.
Your fingernails are filthy. Clean them properly. Have you swept the floor?
Yes.
Okay, to the next phrase.
The most oppressed begins to talk. Again.
Well, I don't get it anyway. Don't need the money and stuff. Good, we don't need here anyway. It's the end.
Our source of information, our source of stories, were our own lives. And as we could see, we were able to transform our stories, our problems, our visions, our dreams, into something artistic.
And then we would like to zoom in into particular relationships with people that we experience common to each one of us, or to draw out certain things or conditions which we found ourselves in common. Education. We have shared that in some way or another we were able to experience a system to educate or miseducate, that's why we rebel against that system. What else?
Conflict.
Like conflict with whom?
Family.
With family. No?
Unity. The law.
Family. Authority. So we have a system. What is the system? The school. Land. Why land? Why do you have the conflict with land? Huh? The law. Who has the control?
Government. State.
Bureaucracy. The Queen, you say, has a direct control over Parliament? Huh? You think? In England, huh?
The money, the barons, the lords, the money comes.
So the money, all the money goes out?
It's back to the people. People control.
Yeah. So you have power, at the same time, social attitudes.
The way women are abused and violence against women.
Women, and violence towards youth. Youth. The problems of youth. What else?
And the problems of the elderly too.
The problems of the elders.
People who
Homeless.
The health and
the homeless.
and people who are cut off from their whānau.
We would just like you to reflect again on your stories and just to tune into one. What issue would you want to elaborate more?
Somebody say it. Okay. And next.
Just like one big decision for
What decision?
Hey, wait a minute, where are you going? But maybe she should have a Can you show?
Let's go. Follow it and then add more details if you want to add more.
Well, that's what that finger shows me is that authority. You've still got that authority, but on the other hand, maybe you're starting to question your authority.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with
the transition.
changing.
So do you think this is a possible transition?
Yes.
Maybe somebody from the group could give perhaps one sentence, two sentence explanation.
If we have to hold on to the reo, if people haven't been brought up with it, we're going to have to give up the lot. We have to leave the Pākehā education system and institutions and make our own way back to our marae and our language.
Can we have the three pictures again? And this time, for each picture, can somebody in the group also give statements? Well,
You children, listen to me. I am the authority. You do what I say. I want the reo, but legally I have to stay in school and listen to a Pākehā teacher.
I'm tied here, but I really want to be over there.
I'm stuck. These exercises will be done online to find out what the oppression is, to identify who our oppressor is, to find out how we can
listen to your elders, dear. I'm listening and learning.
So basically, this is what we call the theater.
You may have to put it.
Like the third
I'm leaving your
about the family. No,
I'm running
as it
home.
was already a good transition. But from the audience, from the community, there was a suggestion to put in another
possible
another image for the transition. And then we realized what could be better alternative, because we open
I think Duncan should be pissed off with him. Bottle of beer in your face.
That's way?
Well, the reality is often when that happens that the man just gets aggro and goes, oh, well, fuck off then if that's how you feel, sort of thing. That is really how it happens a lot.
Mom!
I'm hungry.
Now on, you kids. You stop! Who do you think you are? I'll put you in this world. What are you doing now? Now on, you. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed. Have a look at it.
Okay.
Is everyone ready for crying? Ready? Come on, little Tootsie, come and have your cry. Papa, come on. You right there, Mom? Are you feeling too warm? Good. It's so nice to be over here now.
Sure, dear.
There's another cup of tea.
Yes, I'll make it for you.
I'm hungry.
You fellas, you're nothing. Doing nothing. No way.
Come on here.
We're off, mate. We don't need none of you no more. I don't mind that.
I didn't see it as acting. I saw it as actually a photo of those actual things, and you could see it that it had already happened.
One that we did in our section, in our group, reminded me a lot of my family and the situation that happened in my family. But my mother wasn't 9 on before she passed away, and this was my turning point. Express our feelings. It's a really challenging thing. It makes us more able to share our feelings.
These exercises were developed for us, the oppressed people, to find out what our oppression is, to identify who our oppressor is, to find out how we could break that oppression. Okay. So basically, this is what we call the theater of the oppressed.
Like the third group, about the family, as it was already a good transition transition picture or frame. But from the audience, from the community, there was a suggestion to put in another another image for the transition. So that's when we get more people involved, and then we realize what could be better options, better alternatives, because we open the entire process of change to the community.
Yeah, I know that these things that I've learned here about myself and the other people and being able to know these people freely is something that I can use with the kids that I work with. And we don't need to set up an access training program. We can do it as part of our life. That's what I'm trying to get away from being caught up with all the money and the system.
It's been a growing experience for me. I feel a lot stronger inside. We are sort of told to be warriors, but a lot of the time we don't know what we're fighting for. Because a lot of the time we end up oppressing each other. And that sort of fight, it shouldn't go on. The house here, this study, it's lonely. It's a lonely place a lot of the year. It is left empty. A lot of our history here, we don't know. We can't read everything in here. We don't really know everything, but all we know is what we feel inside of us, and we can relate the loneliness of ourselves in our hearts to the loneliness of the house.
Thanks to the Philippine people for being sensitive to us as Maori people and for bringing it to our Marae. An excellent process because the realization of your oppression takes you through and knowing how to confront it. Those of us who are out in the field, who work and deal with people out in the wider community, this process caters to everybody.
The thing is, for Hori to see what kind of story I started with, and to make it flow quite well. Like, we're all writers, we're all creating the story at a person's part.
He was quite a lonely boy, and he used to play a lot by himself at the back of the house. And one day he fell into the hole. He had another sister.
She was
He had another sister, and she had long red hair, like 20 feet long. and she plaited it in a big plait and threw it down to her brother.
Brother said,
"What's that? You mean I should grab hold of that?"
And she lowered her hair into the hole so that her brother could climb up.
the boy was 30 feet down the hole, and the hair was only 20 feet.
Anyway, there was something inside of her that made her realise that she should try and help her brother because he really couldn't do anything about being with her.
We'd call fire.
What's happening here?
They thought it was a fire, and they put water into the hole. Now it's 30 feet down in a pool that was 20 feet.
Let us try to find out why this became boring. Was there anything wrong with the theme, with the characters, with the conflict, or the story?
These characters I didn't get any feeling from them, and it was more or less, that's why I couldn't explain myself.
I mean, there wasn't a conflict. People were being acted on, but had no way of reacting back.
Can you look at the story with regard to the beginning, middle, and an end?
All over the place.
We should think of the characters having emotion, having a personality or a psychological, how we think. Maybe we could add social environment.
If she did a real lesson, often they spent a lot of time not actually on the oral real, but on the written. So she's saying, and this is a correct way to spell kōrero.
Teacher, are there any, has she, achieved any kind of learnings or insights? Or is it mainly what we're trying to develop, or mainly the Maori youth?
And after the trip back to the Marae, I was sitting up the back, right, with the mates, but it's actually out of character, because I'm not actually the same as them, because I've had a different economic background. And I still want to achieve, but there's that conflict.
So you've got to make that decision, well, you really want to come back to school, you really want to pass the exam.
So, you know, you're not the only one, Janet or whatever, and it just seems to be all of the Maori students are not listening to my classes.
We've got to make sure that the continuity is there, that when people are watching the changes, that they understand that what is happening is clear enough for them.
There's no gaps.
Yeah, there's no gaps.
So that there's no B, C or D in the Maori language?
You need to be a bit more specific as to what you want them to do, like repeat after me or emphasise this or... And when you say, oh, I didn't know, they're key lines, so make sure everyone hears them.
I don't know what the lines are and what
We're making it up now.
Hear our voices, we are trained, Scotty, Grand New Zealand.
Be cool.
So, kia ora. My name is Miss Boa'ls, and I'm here to teach you the WHARE. I've just spent 3 years in the university learning this subject, so I probably
Did have to go to university?
And I'm a teacher and I'm qualified here.
Bloody no.
I want to get my bloody school to Maori, you don't. Didn't even think I spoke Maori anymore.
1 week later.
Could you get your pens and papers out for the next lesson? So could you copy this down after me, please? The rest of the alphabet you already have sort of brown. Have you got that down? Kia ora e koe. Kia ora.
Oh, good morning, miss. I just come to collect my moko.
Could you come back later, please? We're just in the middle of class. Thank you.
Tēnā koe moko, tēnā koe masutu pai. 2 weeks later.
It's not going to be much more interesting than this.
Boring. Especially with that bloody Pākehā teacher.
I know. What a bull to learn something.
Kia ora. Hey.
Sorry, had a good time. What was it like at your uncle's?
The mati alright. Meetings, relations, medicine, phrases.
Did you stay on the Marae?
Yeah. That's what you do when you have a mati. They take the body on the Marae.
This is our 12th lesson, and we're down here. We'll get our papers out ready for the next copy down from the wall. Excuse me, what are you doing here?
Where is class, aren't I? You just come back from my...
You've just been away for 2 weeks.
Oh, you know where I was? Yeah.
Look, how do you expect me to teach you the language when you have been away and these other children are going to suffer? Learn, you'll never catch up. I don't exactly know where you were. On holiday, I suppose. You know, what do Marys get up to when you're on holiday?
I'll teach you something. Get out your dictionary. Go on. I'll show you something.
Would you mind sitting down?
Pick him up. Oh, mighty waiora kia.
E tu te uana te moe te kuia te pō kao pia.
That's Kelly.
Kia ora. Te whare tingu nei, e papa te muku e hora nei, karanga mai, karanga mai, karanga mai. Karanga ki ngā muku puna, na uru. Tōna kōrero, ārangi maunga.
Koko.
Ja, ka mātu, ka pai. Hey, Bess, told me they had the 21st this weekend. You can always come up if you want. Be choice.
Oh, got together?
Yeah.
Am I right, Mum?
No, Marae's supposed to be open. If you're invited, yeah.
Oh. I think my mother will let me go.
You know what a pack of pussy is, don't you?
I didn't. You?
I had a Ralph.
I noticed.
You can't handle your smoke, eh?
Yes, listen, today I'd like to do questions and answers. Ki, he akati taina. If you answer me in Maori, look.
If you say great.
Look, if you don't like the way I teach, you know.
Well, who cares about the time anyway?
Papa's coming, you think they can teach us Maori, right?
Yeah, we don't want a bloody private teacher teaching us a bloody language.
Yeah, I'll do the best I can.
Yeah, we don't get paid for it.
Kasa moku mai ki te whakaro mai te reo ranga kira ka whaingia moi nei kai kōrero mai kōrero
whakapānga mua e nei kai
hei o ranga kōrero
hei o ranga
mō mātou skimanga
mō mātou skimanga
tō mātou ariki
Tomata ariki.
Ihu kararaiti. Amen. Amen. Kia ora mokapuna.
See this as, if you like, a point of reflection and a consolidation point within the Māori theatre framework, that we are now looking nationally to link groups up that are already in existence. I think that the PETA working process is very, very clear. The process is extremely useful in the formation of Māori drama groups, working with material that's relevant to their own community. I want us to take charge of our own stories, our own myths, the whole process and how we present them. That for once we are doing the whole thing without being reliant on Pākehā people for that.